This question comes from Alex, who asks, what if humans could breathe in space? Let's imagine for a moment that one day you wake up, put on your pajamas, step outside, and instead of seeing your neighbor's cat destroying your garden, you see the infinite void of space. And strangely, you don't die. You're breathing. No helmet, no spacesuit, just you and the stars. Welcome to the strangest morning of your life. So, if humans could breathe in space, what would actually change? First, we need to clear something up. Breathing in space isn't just about oxygen. Oxygen is only one ingredient your body craves. Out in space, there isn't air pressure to keep your blood and organs nicely tucked in. Normally, without a suit, you'd swell up like a microwaved marshmallow, your blood would boil, and your lungs would explode. But in our scenario, let's assume all of that doesn't happen. Magically, your body handles the vacuum like a champ. Basically, you've got gills for the void. Congratulations, you're now space fish. So, what's the first thing you do? You probably try to talk. Spoiler, it wouldn't work. There's no air for sound waves to travel through. You'd move your lips dramatically, but no one would hear you scream or sing. Space karaoke nights would be incredibly awkward. Unless, of course, humans invented giant Bluetooth speakers that play your thoughts out loud. Creepy, but kind of fun. Okay, you can breathe, but can you live? Breathing doesn't protect you from temperature. On one side of Earth, the sun is blazing at plus 120 degrees Celsius. On the other, it's colder than your ex's heart at negative 150 degrees Celsius. Without a suit, you'd be roasted on one side and frozen on the other. Imagine lying on the world's deadliest barbecue grill. So, unless you also got magical space sunscreen, breathing would only take you so far. But let's pretend you adapt. Suddenly, space travel becomes way cheaper. NASA doesn't need to design billion-dollar life support systems anymore. Want to visit Mars? Just grab a jetpack, a few protein bars, and you're off. Forget Elon Musk's rockets. Humans would commute to Mars like taking a long-distance Uber. Of course, Mars is still 225 million kilometers away, so bring a good playlist. And think about tourism. Billionaires wouldn't brag about buying yachts anymore. Oh, you have a yacht? Cute. I spent the weekend floating next to Jupiter's Great Red Spot. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Instagram would collapse under the weight of new selfies with Saturn's rings. Influencers would literally go out of this world. But here comes the darker side. If anyone can survive in space, that means anyone can colonize it. Space would turn into the new Wild West. Imagine corporations building giant billboards orbiting Earth. This galaxy runs on coffee. Astronauts would have to dodge floating advertisements while trying to land on the moon. And of course, countries would race to claim entire planets, like kids fighting over playground swings. Let's zoom in on Earth. If people could breathe in space, why stay on the surface? Crowded cities would shrink overnight. People would build floating homes just outside the atmosphere. Rent in New York City, $5,000 a month. Rent in orbit, $50,000, but with a much better view. Billionaires would launch space hotels with infinity pools, which, by the way, wouldn't work at all because water in zero gravity turns into weird floating blobs that chase you around like jelly monsters. Now, the biggest question. Could we actually thrive long-term in space? Breathing helps, but space radiation is still a nightmare. It would zap your DNA like popcorn in a microwave. After a few months, you'd either be dead or, well, let's just say the next generation of humans might look less like us and more like glowing jellyfish. There's also another problem. In space, there's no gravity. Our muscles and bones get weak without it. After years of floating around, humans might turn into floppy noodle people. Sure, you can breathe, but good luck holding a coffee cup when your arms feel like overcooked spaghetti. Still, there's something poetic here. If we could breathe in space, the universe would finally feel like a true home. Imagine stepping off Earth, looking around, and realizing there are no boundaries. The galaxy wouldn't just be something we dream about in sci-fi movies. It would be our backyard. Kids would grow up asking, not, can I go outside? But, which planet can I play on today? So, what if humans could breathe in space? Well, we'd survive longer, travel farther, and maybe even colonize new worlds. But at the same time, we'd face radiation, freezing nights, and the awkward silence of karaoke parties that no one can hear. Breathing in space wouldn't make us gods. It would just make us explorers, with slightly fewer ways to die. And honestly, that sounds like a pretty great deal.